You've seen those cinematic 3D shorts blowing up in your feed. Smooth camera moves, glowing lights, insane depth. The crazy part, they're all made in Blender, and it's way easier than it looks. This clip's from my Skillshare class where I show you how to create viral 3D videos from scratch. Even if you've never opened Blender before, you'll see how to build full scenes, add realistic lighting, and make it feel straight out of a movie, all in under an hour. Let's start by building the world, and you'll see how fast it comes to life. First, we're going to focus on creating our environment and assembling the scene. So let's quickly come to Premiere and take a look at what we have. So this is our transcript. You can come to the window, click on text, and you'll be able to have your text properties, and you'll be able to see it in real time where the audio and the text combine together.
At first, it's just a puddle. Then the flow ripples and a wave crashes through your desk.
I'm going to mark things with color. So this can say this color, but for this one, let's make it mango.
Wave crashes through your desk. In minutes, you're swimming to reach the ceiling. The water's warm, too warm.
So for now, I'm going to click here as well.
You look out the window. The street is gone, replaced by endless ocean. For air and wake up. No ocean, just your bed.
And we'll make this one color. The reason why, actually... The reason why I'm marking things with colors, so we have some identification, and each color, basically the difference in color is going to be one scene. So this is going to be one scene, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. We're going to have 7 scenes. It's just kind of the way I'm imagining this to be. So at first it's just a puddle, so we need to show a puddle. Then the flow ripples and the wave crashes, through your desk. This is going to be another scene. Technically it's going to be one scene because we're going to create it, but then when we put our camera animation exporting, I think it's better to do it with different scenes because I'm going to make it a little bit easier, and I'm going to show you everything in a second. Let's see what we have here.
Swimming to reach.
Yes, this is going to be another scene because there's going to be different levels of water and things like that.
The water's warm, too warm.
The water's warm, too warm.
You look out the window. The street is gone, replaced by endless ocean. You gasp for air and wake up. No ocean, just your bed. No ocean, just your bed. And yeah, you peed.
Each thing is going to be a different scene, but for now we need to create one big scene. Basically, I'm thinking about it being sort of like, not necessarily a child room, but something like where there's a bed and a desk. Usually it's like a children's room, so this is what we need to do. Let's go to Blender and start putting things together. So I'm going to delete everything. Okay, so let's go to Sketchfab and let's search for, what's the name of the children's room? Great question. Let's ask ChatGPT. Is there a name for a children's room? For example, like for adults, it's usually bedroom. For children, is there a name? Kids room. Okay, kid room. Okay, great, there are. Before we continue, I'm going to press Command S to save the file because if it crashes, we're going to have our file saved. So let's call it, how did we call it in Premiere? Ocean Video. Ocean Video is going to be our file. I'm going to create another folder called Blender in our Ocean Video. So Ocean Video, Blender, save our file. Okay, so now we have our file saved. We'll press Command S. And by the way, another thing is if you go to Preferences, so Command comma or Control comma, and if we go into the save and load, you can save files every 2 minutes. It's going to auto-save, so just make sure you have this enabled, otherwise it will not be auto-saved, and if you forgot to press Command S, you will just lose everything. So let's see what we have here. So we have kids room, this one, we have this one. Let's see what's actually, there's a desk, so let's try this one. So let's click on it, and I completely forgot to change the renderer. We need it to be in cycles. Now there's going to be a problem, so we need to Command Q to quit. I'm not going to save, and I'm going to come to Blender, and this is going to be our project. I'm going to open it. Come to renderer, switch to cycles so that we can import, and now kid room once again. It was this one, so import model, and you can see now we have it in process. One thing as well, in order for people to identify this iconic style by Zag D Films, I think we should change the walls to this blueprint color. So remember, like the blue with stripes, we should do it here as well. Our room was imported. Let's take a look at what we have in this room. So we have desk, pistol. Not sure if we need this pistol, but we'll see. So the windows are... Just want to see if we can get rid of that. Yes, we can see through the windows. Okay, great. Let's come to render, and we will put EV now because we don't need cycles, which takes a lot of time. No way, Need for Speed. Let's create a light from the top. So I'm going to press Shift A, and I'm going to create a light. Probably need a point light, to be honest, because we are using it in a room. So I'm going to press on G with our light selected. Let's press on Z so that we just move it up, so that it stays in the same position, move up. Then we can come to data and we can increase the power so that it illuminates the room. Now, if we search for blueprint here, blueprint, and we go to materials, this is our blueprint. Let's try to apply it to the wall. Great. And to the floor as well. Okay, great. This looks more like it. I'm going to increase the power of the light a bit more. We'll see, maybe we need to add like another wall here, and we'll be able to just Command D, duplicate this wall, change the rotation, and press on Z. So change the rotation to, actually we can just type in 180 like this, and this is going to be, you know, our wall. We can do it like this, right? And then we can just put something here, but for now we don't need it, so I'm going to press on X and delete it. For outside, I think we should use HDRs because we're going to have, like, in the video we're talking about the ocean. Come to Blender Kit, search filters, free first, and let's search for ocean. Drag and drop. Actually, this ocean is kind of bad quality. Let's Command Z and search for other HDRs. Also, in terms of the videos, you want the videos to be brighter rather than darker, because if the video is dark, people are less likely to watch it. Mountain on the... Let's see what this is. This is good. I'm not sure about this quality. I just realized I might have been importing it in bad quality. So what if we use original like this? It's going to take a little bit more time to load, but then I think the quality should be better. Yes, the quality is now better. That's how we should have done it. Okay, so let's increase the strength, and it's going to be scarier. This background or something else. Let's try another background. So okay, this is great. I think we'll stick with this one. We have our room, although it's really well illuminated. What if we disable the point light? What if we decrease the strength of our HDR? Great. I think if we were to see this, it'd still be good, or potentially maybe like that side. So we'll see, maybe we will rotate the whole thing, because this is our room. And if we were to rotate it, we could just click on R, select it, and rotate it. Good. I'm not sure if I like this rug, so I'll click on delete it. Delete this thing as well. Okay, is there anything on the floor? No. Let's call this one original scene. We will have it saved like this. Okay, we need to think through from the very beginning as well. Is there anything else we need in terms of this scene? Is there anything else we need to add here before animating? Because it's going to be a lot easier for us to just create this scene and then just go ahead and copy it, because if not, we might like need to customize every single scene in the future. But I think this can work great. So this is going to be our scene, HDR, the room, and we're good to go. The next thing we need to think through about the model. Let's go to Mixamo and try to find a model. Mixamo characters. Let's search for a kid. or like a child. Not realistic. So let's see what options we have. Let's search for a man. See this Brian guy, bald. So I'm thinking about doing it in two ways. One where we will find the model that is easy to replicate with a human generator. So we're going to use a model from Mixamo and create our animations here, but then we are going to generate a with human generator another model, make that model look like this model for close-ups. So this is going to be like from far away, but from close-ups we're going to use human generator. So let's try to use this Brian guy. So let's download our character. We need to sign in, so I'm going to log in as well. I'm going to log in with Google and let's download him. Let's use a T-pose, that would be good. I'm going to allow download. Let's come to Blender and I'm going to duplicate the scene. So I'm going to come here, new scene. You can see we can either create new one, copy settings, linked copy or full copy. I'm going to do a full copy so that now we can call this one test. You can see that we have two. We have our original scene and we have a test. And now if I import our Brian guy here, so let's import him. It's gonna take some time. There's our Brian guy. There we go. We should try and replicate our person. I'm going to move him a little bit to the left, like so. And now we're going to use a human generator and try to make the same guy. So let's come to human generator. It's going to be male. Let's try to find a face that best represents this person. Okay, let's do something like this and then we'll be able to customize our person. So G, X, and to move it to the left a little bit. Pose. Let's do a T pose as well if there is one. I believe there should be one. Wonder if we can search in terms of poses. Probably not. Base poses. Okay, T pose. Great. So there we go. Okay, so let's come to clothing. Let's try to give him similar clothing. So we have jeans and t-shirt. So we can come to material and we should be able to customize the colors here, or if we go into the shader editor and we open it up. So these are the colors. Let's try to make this color something like this so that it's similar. Main color, let's set it to something like so. Okay, and also we forgot about the footwear. So probably something like this. In terms of the colors, the main color should be this color. Okay, it doesn't have to be perfect. Once again, we're just trying to make them seem like one person. Oops. Now let's customize the head a little bit. Face, we definitely need eyebrows. Okay, so Blender, quit unexpectedly, reopen, file, recover, autosave. This must be the one. Ocean, video, autosave, recover. Great. This is where we stop. Now we need to do it again. So let's change the color. Okay, so this person is very metallic, and if I select him and if I decrease the metallic properties, it becomes less metallic. I think these are more or less good to go. Maybe we need to change the face a little bit. So if we come to hair, hidden hair. So what do we need else? Maybe the face. Actually, you know, I think these are pretty identical. People will not see the difference between those unless we explicitly show it, but we're not going to show it. Good. We have our person now. We can actually just, if we want, get rid of this guy completely. Command X, delete. And now we have our person. Great. Let's take a look at the names. Original scene with person. Original scene with person. So now we have original scene and original scene with person. If I switch between these two, you'll see that we have a person, only one of those. Great. Now we'll go to the timeline, lower this down a little bit, and I think we should start creating. Come to Premiere, open our file, see what kind of text we have and for how long, and continue.
At first, it's just a puddle.
At first, it's just a puddle. Actually, let's see if there's a puddle on Sketchfab. If we maybe don't even have to animate the water. So let's change the renderer to cycles and see if maybe we can import this. Ooh, what's the size of this puddle? Let's come to EV. Okay, doesn't look like water, just looks like, not even sure what it looks like. Yeah, I don't think this is going to work, so let's delete it by pressing X. Let's see if there's anything else. Actually, I just had another idea. What if we search for water downloadable on Sketchfab animated? There's already like a water animation. I mean, we can definitely use something like this instead of doing it by hand. And even something like this. Actually, I think, yeah, it's gonna save us a lot of time. Yeah, something I did not think about at all. So let's try to download it. I see this water is paid. This is why I'm not able to download it. Okay, let's see which one we are able to download. So this is good. This is good as well. Let's try to download this one. Once again, FBX. Let's come to Blender and let's come to scene number 1. Just going to unzip it. And let's drop it in and see what we have. What if we go to, I mean, there is a way to do this. I'm just trying to find the fastest way to go about this. So let's try to go to Sketchfab, water animation. This is the one. Let's change it to cycles and import our model. Great. Now let's go to EV and see what we have. Water animation. Let's decrease the scale of it so that it's a lot smaller. G, Z to move it a little bit higher. Let's see. Interesting, actually, because of we can actually see it from a different reflection point a little bit better. So from this side we can see it better than from this side. So maybe instead of customizing it, we can actually just play around with lighting a little bit. So let's see if we can add like a light point. G, let's see if we can, yes, we can definitely illuminate it and it will be better. G and Y, yes, we can definitely illuminate it so that it's visible a little bit better. So great. Let's delete the light for now. And still we need to figure out the puddle part. I thought this could be a great puddle part, but maybe not necessarily. What do we search for? River. See if there's anything interesting. Actually, we'll have this one. Maybe we can use it. So let's go to cycles and search for this one. Import. Oh wow, it's ginormous. So we need to decrease the scale a lot. G, X, put it here. Let's see. I've been kind of thinking about this, and so this is our script. At first it's a puddle, so we can actually try and do the puddle a little bit later, and then for now, then the flow ripples and a wave crashes through your desk. What we can do is we can press on R, Z, yeah, so we need Z. Move it around a little bit, make it smaller, we don't need it to be this big. Then we would need to press G, X, move it a little bit to the left, and see what we have here. Okay, so this is our water, and we can actually press G, Z, move it a little bit down, and we can now animate it so that it's going up. And you can see there's animation of the water itself, so we can do something else. Instead of just animating the water, which already has keyframes, we can press Shift A, empty, plane axis, and we need to select our water like this. Then we need to select our empty. Actually, where is this? So we need to select our water, empty. Okay, empty. Let's change the position of empty. G, X, move it like this. So let's select water. By pressing Shift, I'm going to select our empty, and by pressing Command P, I'm going to parent it, object. So now, when I move empty and press G, I'm going to move water as well. And right now, I'm going to just animate the empty, and the animation of the water is going to stay the same. So I'm going to press I by selecting empty. Let's think through. Okay, so this is going to take like 2 seconds, for example. We can always change it a little bit later once we have things opened in Premiere. And I'm going to press G, Z, move it a little bit up, like so, and press I again. So let's see what we have. Perfect. So this is going to be for this scene. The flow ripples and the waves, and the wave crashes through your desk. In minutes, you're swimming to reach the ceiling. So this is going to be scene 1, and we can duplicate this scene by pressing here, full copy, and we'll call this scene 2. And for this scene, we're actually going to need to use Mixamo. So I'm going to close all of this. Swim. So let's do this animation. Okay, not necessarily this one because they're grabbing. This is a good animation, so we can go ahead and download it. Allow the download. I'm going to open the downloads folder. So where's the swimming? This is the one. Let's import it. Okay, great. Actually, let's make our person just a little bit smaller. Not tiny, but just a little bit, so that they can actually swim in the room. Press R, Z, and I'm going to rotate them like so. G, X, Y, so that we move them. Let's animate the empty of water rising even further. I'm going to delete this keyframe by selecting it and pressing X, delete keyframes, and we're going to start from here. And let's say, actually, we can put it to frame number 1. Edit frame, let's say 90. Press G, Z, and make the water even higher. And press on I to set the keyframe. Actually, let's connect our person to the empty as well. Let's select our person, Shift, empty, Command P or Control P, object, and it should be a very similar, yes, situation where the person is rising. Great. Now, if we come to here and let's come to frame number 1 where this whole animation starts. Let's open empty. We will have our person here and we can lower him down. Probably like so. So let's see. Swimming towards the ceiling. This is looking great. So this is going to be scene number 2. Roughly, we'll customize the timing a little bit later. Pressing Command S. I'm going to duplicate, make full copy. Now, this is going to be scene number 3. Actually, scene 1 is scene 2. Scene 2, okay, so let's name. Scene 3 is actually scene 4. Number 2 should be number 3. And number 1 should be 2. So let's come to number 4. And here, I would like to change the position of the empty. I'm going to create another empty, Shift A, empty, and I'm going to change its position, make it a little bit higher, and GX, put it a little bit to the left, and I'm going to connect empty number 2 to empty number 3. So whatever the first one that we select is going to be the one parented, and the second one we select is going to be the parent. So object, and now I want to move this empty. The reason I'm doing this is because we have animation on empty number, basically on the first one, and empty number 2, we will be able to move it around without affecting the animation of the first empty. So let's press G and Y, and I want to move it so that the water doesn't appear over here. Let's also G and move it a little bit to the left so that we don't see the wall. So something like this. And now we can actually just take the window away, delete. We'll see what we can do with the camera here. And I'm going to actually create another empty right now to connect the person so that the person will be next to the room. So I'm going to empty plane axis, change the position of this one so that we can see it like so, and I'm going to connect our person. So I'm going to open and find our person over here, and I'm going to connect it to this empty, and I'm going to press Command P once again, object, and so now this is how it should be. Oh no, I see what happened. So because the person was connected to another empty, when I connected it to this new empty, it actually stopped being connected to the first empty. Interesting. So we need to press Command Z. We can delete this empty. Let's select the person, press G, Y, and move him to the very front, and G and X, and move him a little bit to the left, like so. The reason why we're doing this is because we want to see him from the window, because I want to put the camera outside like this and to see the person rising with the water. Press Z and X and move him, maybe change the rotation a little bit. Okay. Let's see how it goes. Yeah, this is pretty good. Okay, so the water is warm, too warm. I think for this one, the water is warm, too warm. We should show this guy and animate his face when he's like, you know, a little bit like, what? Like, how is it too warm? Why is it warm? This scene is going to be number 5 when he's looking out of the window. So this is this scene, this one, and then this needs to be scene number 4. So let's duplicate this scene, full copy. Now let's take a look at this and delete the animation. We can get rid of this person, so we can move him like X to the left, and let's position this person. We're not going to show his arms, so I would like to rotate him a little bit and move him maybe just a bit like so. What we're going to show with the camera is just like that he's floating pro, like this view right here. Yeah, let's take a look at our empties. Looks like one of the empties still has keyframes. Yes. So I'm going to press on X, delete. Yes, perfect. So now we need to animate the face of this person. I'm going to switch the viewport, and what if we go into, actually for this we need to select our person, and we need to go into the human generator, expressions, add a facial rig, and now we'll be able to select parts of his face if we go into the pose mode. Right, so we can select, for example, press on G, and we can kind of move it around. Now I'm going to go back to this shader here, and let's create an animation. So here, let's go to frame number 1, select all of these by pressing Shift. I'm not sure which parts will animate, so I'm just going to select all of these. I'm going to press on I, and we're going to create a keyframe. Now let's move like 30 frames, and let's move one of the eyebrows up by pressing G. This one up as well. This one needs to go, actually this is the eye. This one needs to go down. This one needs to go down. Open one of his eyes a little bit more. Close one of your... Sorry, this is very funny. Okay, when you're gonna do this. Okay, by doing the nose, I think it looks a little bit weird, so let's bring it back to the way it was. It looks like this part did not animate. I think it's an interesting face. Not sure if it's the best representation of this situation, but I feel like the water is warm, too warm. Works pretty great. You gasp for air and wake up. And I think when they gasp for air, this can be a new scene where original scene with person. So we can do this one. So we can duplicate it. Full copy. So it's going to be scene 6. And here we just need to place our person on the bed. So we need to rotate him. We do this 180, like so. And let's G, actually R, and put him down like 90 degrees. Oops. Yes, let's R, X, and 90. Now we need to press G, Y, actually X, move him to the side. G, so Z, move him up. G and Y. Sorry. We can move the pillow a little bit to the side. G and Y. Maybe put it here for now. So let's see what we have. And we can have this view from the top of the camera a little bit later. So let's select our human again. G, and I want to move him down. So I'm going to put Y and move him down. Let's select the guitar, move it to the side, pistol. Okay, we can keep the pistol there. Visually show to people the part that the person peed themselves. So we're saying no ocean, just your bed. But then on the screen, we will have like a yellow big spot rising. What are your thoughts? I think it's going to be very interesting. Shift A, let's create a circle. G, let's move it up by pressing Z. Press F to fill. Now if we go to material, actually let's search for Sketchfab, or maybe we don't even need to search for Sketchfab. Let's see if we can add just like a color, like a yellow. Okay. Let's try to put it below our person now. So I'm going to select it. Go to object mode, select it, G, move it a little bit. Actually, let's move it perfectly Z down. S to decrease the scale. Press I, move it a little bit further, increase the scale. Press on I again. Go to frame number 1. So let's see. For now, I think this looks pretty good. We might just need to change the timing a little bit so that it takes a little bit longer to appear. You gasp for air and wake up. Let's select our person. Let's go to human generator and expressions and face rig, add a facial rig. Let's go into the pose mode and let's make him gasp for air. So select all of these, press on I. Actually, in the very beginning, I want his eyes to be closed. Frame number 1. Select one eye, G, and press on I. Okay. 30 frames in, G, open the eyes. Press on I. I'm going to select this one, press on I. Going to go 50 frames, G, pull it down, press on I, and I'm going to go 60, G, to the left, I, 70, G, to the right, I. And now I can just copy these and paste these in, like so. Okay, maybe these need to be placed a little bit faster, closer to each other. Okay, so now we have all of our animations aside from the very first one, which is at first it's just a puddle. New. We are going to call it scene 1. And let's try to find a puddle with Sketchfab, just some sort of puddle. Let's try to import this one, see what we have. Okay, let's add some sort of light. Sun. Let's increase the sun. Change the position by going to Object and okay, this liquid is pretty dark. Let's create a plate so that we can see it better. Increase the scale. Actually change the renderer not to cycles but to EV. Can probably change the color of this one to something else. Base color, metallic. What if we search for Blender Kit and search for water in the materials and then try to apply water to this guy? Or some sort of other water that would feel more realistic. At first it's just a puddle. Maybe we can use this one in the very beginning. Okay, I'm going to copy this one and I'm going to just actually this will be water, this will be puddle, and I'm going to scene number 2 and I'm going to duplicate this full copy. Here I'm just going to delete this one and delete this one and paste our puddle X, Y, G, Y. Okay, so it's going to be like peeking from beneath the bed. We can also animate it, so we can set I like a position and G, X, move it a little bit to the left, press on I, actually come to this I, G, X, move it a little bit even more before the bed. Oops, forgot to click on I, so G, X, Y. Okay, now we have all of our scenes, but this is going to be scene number 1. So we have scene number 1 where we have water coming below the bed. Scene number 2 where we have the water rising, just showing the water rising and hitting like this side. Then we have scene number 3 where a person is kind of floating towards the ceiling, which is what we have in the script. Scene number 5. Okay. Scene number 4. What's happened? Okay, so this is going to be scene number 4 when the person is smiling, when it's very warm. Scene number 5 when the person is floating and we'll be seeing him from the window view right here. And scene number 6 where we see the person and the person is just peeing themselves. These are all the scenes that we will need. In the next video we are going to animate the camera. Then all that will be left to do is to export the video, put everything in Premiere with audio and things like that, and that's it. I will come back to Premiere Pro, and all I'm going to do is to take a look at how many frames we have in order to identify like how long each scene needs to be. So for example, you will see that in Premiere I have, for example, I have 24, and after I go to the next frame, it's going to be 1. So if I come to the sequence settings, by clicking here, sequence settings, you will see that I have timeline 25 frames a second. So I need to put it to 30 frames a second. It was created automatically when I just dragged the audio clip to here. So now you will see that I have 29 frames, and after that it comes to sort of 30 frames, but it comes to becomes 1 second. And if I come here, we will see that we have 1 second and 24 milliseconds. So that would be 54 frames, because we have 1 minute, which is 30 plus 24 equals 54. And this is what we have to do in Blender. So we will come to scene number 1, and we will come to output, and here we need to put start frame rate at frame number 1 and end at frame number 54. Because of this, we also need to put our animation so that it works like this. Alright, so we'll put this one to something like this. And we'll have it something like, at first it's just a puddle, and then we'll have the puddle come up. Let's now create a camera. So Command A, camera, and let's change the position of the camera. Okay, so we cannot see anything with the camera. I'm going to press on O to have the camera view. Also going to change the resolution to 1080 by 1920 so that we have it vertical, and we'll do it in the output properties. And I'm going to press Shift tilde, and I'll be able to fly around and see exactly what's happening. Actually, I'd like to go a little bit lower, like so. And let's go into the camera and increase the focal length. Shift tilde, and I will just do it like so for now. Let's see what it looks like in the viewport. Let's add another viewer like this, remember, until we get like this cross. So let's move it a little bit like so. I'm going to press on N, then press here and N as well to get rid of this pop-up. By pressing here, I'm going to press on 0, and I'm going to select this view. I'll be able to see the camera like this. Okay, I'm going to zoom in here. Let's zoom in on the camera just a little bit more, and let's select the camera. So let's come here, Shift tilde, and fly a little bit to the right, a little bit to the front. Let's see what we have. Great, loving this. Okay, and now we need to export this first scene. So first of all, I'm going to come to our folder, and I'm going to create Blender exports. This is going to be our folder. And now I'm going to go into output, and just exactly the same thing we did before. Come to the output, click on this folder, desktop, ocean video, Blender exports, and we're going to call this scene 1 and accept. Now we need to select the video format, encoding, MPEG-4, that's it. Now we will be able to just press, once again, either come to render animation, or you can click on the shortcut, which is what I'm going to do, and we'll be good to go. Now we just have to wait. Great, this was just finished, so we can close this, and let's take a look at what we have. Another secret I would like to share with you about the video is the video should start with some sort of movement. So right now it's static, and it's not necessarily a thumb stopper. So it's just like it's coming to the screen. I think we should animate the camera. Let's put a final keyframe, let's say around here. I'm going to press on I, and we should do something here. So I'm going to press on Shift tilde. Maybe we should just do it like this. What if we move this to the side? Yeah, I think it's better when we see the background here. Let's try to export it this way. So we have scene 1, and right now if we just start rendering, it's going to override the file that we created previously. So let's give it a try, because we don't need the previous file. Now we just need to wait once again. I had to stop the animation because I just had another idea. So we have our camera like this, but then we have our focal point here, and I would like to just make sure it's zooming in until the very end. Let's come to camera. We need to keyframe it. Let's create a keyframe by pressing here, and let's do 174. Press on or one. Yeah, we can do it like this. Put a keyframe. I'll move this couple of frames to the front. Yeah, I think this will be great. Okay, now we will export. Let's take a look at what we've created. Great. Movement from the very beginning and zoom in. Slide zoom in. Great. So now if we come to Premiere and I drag and drop this scene here, you will see that it's exactly the size. It's like perfect, frame by frame.
At first, it's just a puddle. At first, I
think it should start from the very beginning. Right now it starts at frame number 4. We should start at frame number 1. Okay, let's do another export because it's a little bit too late. I thought it would be a bit too much to start moving from the very beginning, but then it stays for like 4 frames. So
at first, it's just a puddle. Then the floor ripples and a wave crashes through your desk.
Yeah, let's do another export. Great. Export it. Yes, this is better. Let's import it into Premiere and see what we have.
At first, it's just a puddle. Then...
Great. Okay, now 124 and here 511. 124, 511, so that's 120 because that's 4 seconds almost. 30 times 4, 120 minus 13 because 24 minus 11 equals 13. So we have 120 minus 13, 107. So if we go into the second scene needs to be 107 frames. And I'm going to come to the output and set it to 107 frames right away. Let's listen.
Then the floor ripples and a wave crashes through your desk.
Because we have the empty animate, I think we should start a little bit higher. So we press G, Z, move it just a bit up. Like so, yes. I forgot to press the button to select the keyframes. So, and press I. Great. Now let's create a camera. Shift A, create a camera. G to move it a little bit to the left. And we'll do exactly the same thing here. We'll press camera here. We'll come to renderer, 1080, 1920. Think we should, and let's take a look at the camera. Okay. Let's do 30 mil and let's try to put the camera over here. So I just once again pressed Shift tilde to get the camera. Let's select the camera, press I, move it here to the first frame. Once the water is rising, we'll probably move something like that. Press I. And once the water is really high, we will Shift tilde, fly a little bit to the front because we're talking about the table and how the waves are crashing. Let's put I here and delete this keyframe. Let's see what we have. Maybe do it like this. Very smooth motion. I love the way it looks. One thing we can also do is add depth of field, and it's going to become this slightly blurry, which adds a lot of to the video. It becomes a lot more expensive, but we might do this a little bit later. I'll just make a note. To be honest, the way you do this is you just add a depth of field, right? You can either select your subject. Oops, what happened? Where's the camera? Yeah, so you can either select your subject, something like that, or we could, go ahead and select like a focus object, for example, what to focus on. So if we can set, for example, this thing here, and it's going to stay in focus at all times. And if we go further, it's staying in focus to what we had under the table here. So we'll see about that. But for now, we nailed this animation, which shows the water level rising, which is amazing. Just like the depth of field. Yes, this is great. So this is scene number 2. Let's go for other scenes.
In minutes, you're swimming to reach the ceiling.
In minutes, you are swimming to reach the ceiling. Let's go to scene number 3. Okay, let's create another camera. Camera, press 0, shift tilde, and let's fly around. See what we have. The output 1080, 1920, shift tilde. I would like to increase let me select the camera, the focal length, so that we have a little bit less around us. It's like we're zooming in. Can kind of show more of the room without showing the top, which is the sky, or the bottom, which is, the sea. Great. So let's select the camera, press on I. By the way, we did not set how long this is. So this is 511, and we have it until 7:29, 511. So 29 minus 11 plus 30, 48. Just do the math, right? So the output is 48 frames. So put it over here.
In minutes, you're swimming to reach the ceiling. The water's...
No, actually, it's more frames. Oh, that's 78 frames. My apologies, 78 frames. Okay, let's select the camera. One keyframe here, we'll move it to the end, and now shift tilde. Okay, I'll just put a keyframe here for now, but what I want to do, to be honest, is I want to duplicate this floor. Actually, I might need to... I did not select the right thing, right? Press Shift D, R, Z. Rotate it. We can press 180, G, and Y. Move it a little bit to the right. Okay, and we can select this part, press on X to delete it. So now if we select the camera, press Shift tilde, yeah, now we can see the floor better. So we can start like this.
In minutes, you're swimming to reach the ceiling.
Yeah.
The water's warm, too warm.
Now, scene number 4. Let's go into the object mode, because we're in the pose mode and I wasn't able to add a camera. So here I'm going to press Shift A, camera, G, X, just to move it to the side. Now I'm going to press here and press on 0, 1080, 1920, Shift tilde, and let's fly around and see what we have. I want to come here and really zoom in on the person. I mean, we can do focal length here as well, like this. So let's count how long this portion needs to be. 7:29 until 9:28. This scene will be 59 seconds. 59? Okay, let's put a keyframe for the camera here. Select the camera first. Press on I, delete the second keyframe, which I automatically created. Actually, we can make this the last one, and the first one can be Shift tilde, like this. Press on I. Actually, we can change these around so that we come from afar to the close-up. to really see the emotion of the person. And here, let's set another keyframe like this. Yes, this is great. Let's see how long this one is.
You look out the window, the street is gone, replaced by endless ocean.
Scene number 5, where he's looking out the window. Shift A, camera, change the resolution, 1080, 1920. I'm going to press on 0, Shift tilde. Going to come here, press on I. This is where we're going to start, and then the way we're going to end is when the camera turns around, Shift tilde, and sees the endless ocean of this. I'm going to press on I. Okay, we might need to move the person a little bit because we cannot see them at all. Okay, how long is this scene? 9:28, 13:29. So we have 4 seconds plus 1 frame. So that's 121 frames. Let's see, 121 frames. Okay, this is going to be the end. Let's select just our person, armature, and let's move them X to the right. Okay, great, and let's select the empty, or the second empty. Move it a little bit higher by pressing on Z, like so. And the starting point should be a little bit higher as well, so I'm going to press G, Z, a little bit higher. Let's see what it looks like. Yes, this looks great. So we have this part finished as well.
You gasp for air and wake up. No ocean, just your bed. And yeah, you peed.
Okay, and I made this one as one scene in the end, so we can try and make it one scene.
For air.
Let's come to Blender, scene number 6. Let's come to object mode, Shift A, create a camera, 0, Shift tilde, and let's fly up. 1080, 1920. Going to press Shift tilde. So we can start like this. Select the camera, press I. Okay, let's see how long this very last part is. So 1329, 1923. That is 144. So let's go 144 frames.
You gasp for air and wake up.
You gasp for air and wake up. Let's go into pose. Select all of these and let's see. Okay, we need to move these a little bit closer as well. So let's select the camera, press I.
No ocean, just your bed. And yeah, you peed.
So roughly about here, let's set the camera a little bit higher. Press the camera, I, select the keyframe. And when we go to the very end, let's just move the camera a little bit higher. So let's see. So let's see our circle that's growing this animation, and we can just actually we can just make the animation until the very end. So you can see I'm just taking a look at where the camera ends and just trying to make sure it doesn't go beyond the floor. But even if it did go beyond, I would just be able to copy the floor, put it there, and good to go. All I have to do is, like I did with the first video, I'm going to export every single part. I'm going to name it scene number 2, number 3, 4, 5, 6. But I'm not going to bore you with this because there's just no need for you to see the boring stuff. There's no value for that. This is just one of the lessons from my full Skillshare class on viral 3D short form content in Blender. If you want to keep learning with me, there's a 30-day free trial to Skillshare linked below. No prepayment, just full access. Click the link, start learning, and I'll see you inside the full course.